Good day, dear children. Today, let's do a lesson from your Snapshots textbook, Chapter 4, Albert Einstein at School by Patrick Pringle. The lesson is an extract from the biography of Einstein named The Young Einstein by Patrick Pringle. All of you have heard about Albert Einstein, who is known all over the world for his valuable contribution to physics and theory of relativity. However, his school days were not that pleasant. In this lesson, the author familiarizes the reader with those years in Einstein's life where he was struggling each day in school, and as each day passed, the school diploma felt like a far-fetched dream. The lesson throws light upon a few encounters with his teacher, his idea about education, what he felt about the neighborhood he lived in, and how he had only one good friend, Yuri. The way Albert strategizes to get out of the miserable place that is the school and how things turned around in the end makes the story even more interesting. Now let's begin the lesson. Albert Einstein is regarded as the greatest physicist since Newton. In the following extract from The Young Einstein, the well-known biographer Patrick Pringle describes the circumstances which led to Albert Einstein's expulsion from a German school. "In what year, Einstein?" asked the history teacher. "Did the Prussians defeat the French at Waterloo?" "I don't know, sir." "Why don't you know? You've been told it often enough." "I must have forgotten." "Did you ever try to learn?" asked Mr. Brown. "No, sir," Albert replied with his usual unthinking honesty. "Why not?" "I can't see any point in learning dates. One can always look them up in a book." Mr. Brown was speechless for a few moments. "You amaze me, Einstein," he said at last. "Don't you realize that one can always look most things up in the books? That applies to all the facts you learn at school." "Yes, sir." "Then I suppose you don't see any point in learning facts?" "Frankly, sir, I don't," said Albert. "Then you don't believe in education at all?" "Oh, yes, sir, I do. I don't think learning facts is education." "In that case," said the history teacher with heavy sarcasm, "perhaps you will be so kind as to tell the class the Einstein theory of education." Albert flushed. "I think it's not facts that matter, but ideas," he said. "I don't see the point in learning the dates of battles or even which of the armies killed more men. I would be more interested in learning why those soldiers were trying to kill each other." "That's enough." Mr. Brown's eyes were cold and cruel. "We don't want a lecture from you, Einstein. You will stay in for an extra period today, although I don't imagine it will do you much good. It won't do the school any good either. You are a disgrace. I don't know why you continue to come." "It's not my wish, sir," Albert pointed out. "Then you are an ungrateful boy and you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I suggest you ask your father to take you away." The lesson begins with little Albert's encounter with his history teacher, Mr. Brown, where the teacher is asking a question and, as usual, unattentive Albert doesn't know the answer. He gives a speech in the class about what education should include and what they are being taught is irrelevant. It ends up in him being punished by the teacher, which again is not a new experience for him. And the most important part of this section is his idea about education. He believes that it is not facts that matter but ideas, and he doesn't feel importance in learning the dates of battles or even which of the armies killed more men. He was more interested in finding the reason behind these wars. Now let's continue. Albert felt miserable when he left school that afternoon. Not that it had been a bad day. Most days were bad now, anyway. But because he had to go back to the hateful place the next morning. He only wished his father would take him away, but there was no point in even asking. He knew what the answer would be. He would have to stay until he had taken his diploma. Though Einstein is totally unhappy in his school, he finds that there is no escape from this situation because his father had sent him to take his diploma. Going back to his lodgings, the place where he stayed, did not cheer him up, did not make him happy. His father had so little money to spare that Albert had been found a room in one of the poorest quarters of Munich. So underline that point. Where did he stay? Since his father did not have so much money to spare, he had to adjust with the available space. He did not mind the bad food and lack of comfort, or even the dirt and squalor. Squalor is again extremely dirty or unpleasant as a result of neglect. But he hated the atmosphere of slum violence. His landlady beat her children regularly, and every Saturday her husband came drunk and beat her. So it was not a peaceful place. He was not happy in the place he lived in also. But at least you have a room of your own, which is more than I can say, said Yuri when he called round in the evening. So Yuri is his only friend with whom Albert shares everything. So Yuri pacifies him, saying that at least he is fortunate enough to have a room of his own, which is more than he could imagine. At least you live among civilized human beings, even if they are all poor students, said Albert. We are not all civilized, Yuri replied. Did you not hear that one of them was killed last week in a duel? Albert feels that Yuri stays in a better place than him, but Yuri corrects him, saying that not all people who resides in that area are civilized. And what happens to the one who killed him? Nothing, of course. He is even proud of it. His only worry is that the authorities have told him not to fight any more duels. He is upset about this because he hasn't a single scar on his face to wear for the rest of his life as a badge of honor. Oh, exclaimed Albert, and these are the students. Well, you will be a student one day, said Yuri. Yuri interrupts to correct him that not all of them have manners, and only the previous week one was killed in a fight. The one who killed him did not face any circumstances except never being allowed to play a duel again. The only regret that he had was that he won't be able to show off a scar as a symbol of bravery. Albert sighs at the state of students pursuing diplomas. Yuri then gives Albert some hope by saying that he will be a student too, to which Albert expresses his doubtfulness. We will continue. I doubt it, said Albert glumly, sadly. I don't think I'll ever pass the exams for the school diploma. He told his cousin Elsa the same next time she came to Munich. Normally, she lived in Berlin, where her father had a business. I'm sure you could learn enough to pass the exams, Albert, if you tried, she said. I know lots of boys who are much more stupid than you are, who get through. They say you don't have to know anything, you don't have to understand what you are taught, just be able to repeat it in the exams. That's the whole trouble, said Albert. I am no good at learning things by heart. You don't need to be good at it. Anyone can learn like a parrot. You just don't try. And yet I always see you with a book under your arm, added Elsa. What is the one you are reading? A book on geology. Geology, rocks and things. Do you learn that? No, we have hardly any science at school. Then why are you studying it? Because I like it. Isn't that a good enough reason? Elsa sighed. You are right, of course, Albert, she said, but it won't help you with your diploma. Albert expresses his concern to his cousin Elsa, saying that it is not very likely for him to pass exams. Elsa, who had come to visit Einstein in Munich, normally lived in Berlin, the place of her family business. Elsa tried to convince Albert to learn just enough to pass the exams by learning and repeating facts, and that she had seen a lot of dull boys doing that. Albert again exclaimed that learning things by heart is not his way. Apart from books on science, his only comfort was music, and he played his violin regularly until his landlady asked him to stop. "That wailing gets on my nerves," she said. "There is enough noise in this house with all the kids howling." Albert was tempted to point out that most of the time it was she who made them howl, but he decided it was better to say nothing. So here you find Albert was very fond of reading science books, and the only other thing that brought him joy and peace was music. He played the violin a lot, but only until his landlady told him to stop. The sound supposedly irritated her, and she justified by saying that kids already make a lot of noise in the house. Albert wanted to say that she is the one who made her kids cry all the time, but somehow resisted the urge to say it, probably for the better. Let's continue. "I must get away from here," he told Yuri, "after 6 months alone in Munich. It is absurd that I should go on like this. In the end, it will turn out I have been wasting my father's money and everyone's time. It will be better for all if I stop now." "And then what will you do?" Yuri asked. "I don't know. If I go to Milan, I am afraid my father will send me back." Unless his eyes gleamed with a sudden idea. "Yuri, do you know any friendly doctors?" "I know a lot of medical students, and some of them are friendly." "Doctor?" "No, I have never had enough money to go to one." "Why?" "Suppose that I had a nervous breakdown. Suppose the doctor would say it's bad for me to go to school and I need to get right away from it." "I can't imagine a doctor saying that," said Yuri. "I must try," said Albert, "to find a doctor who specializes in nerves. There are plenty of them." He hesitated for a moment and then added, rather reluctantly, "I'll ask some of the students if they know one, if you like." "Will you?" "Oh, thank you, Yuri." Albert's eyes were shining. "Wait a moment, I haven't found one yet." "Oh, but you will. And if I do, I don't know if he'll be willing to help you." He will. I'm going to have a real nervous breakdown to make it easier for him." He laughed merrily. "I've never seen you looking less nervous," remarked Yuri. "A day or two at school will soon put that right," Albert assured him. Here you find Albert is trying to find out a way to save himself from the miserable place that is. His idea included a nervous breakdown and a doctor who could advise him that school is bad for him and he needs to stay as far as he could from it. Yuri did not think that this idea would be a success because it was not easy for a doctor to advise something like that. Albert still wanted to give it a try and find a doctor that specializes in nerves. Yuri offers to ask one of his friends about such a doctor, and Albert immediately expressed his gratitude. Yuri told him not to have his hopes high but little. Albert was all hopeful and positive about finding a suitable doctor who would be willing to help him. He even went to the extent of offering to showcase an actual breakdown to make it seem more real. He was full of hope, and Yuri had never seen him feeling like that. Albert told him not to worry because a day or two at school would restore him back to his troubled state. Thus we come to the end of part 1. Thank you.